In 1990, heavy metal giants Judas Priest were involved in one of the biggest legal battles when it came to music. A Nevada teen listened to the song Better By You, Better Than Me, hearing a supposed subliminal message telling him to do it, thus taking a shotgun and ending his own life. Now, while this is extremely tragic and I feel very bad for the families involved, the legal battle that ensued was completely ridiculous and pointless. The families did blame the band, saying that they put the track in there telling him to do it. That is completely ridiculous. I mean, no band ever wants their fans to kill themselves. It's completely actually opposite of what they want. Bands are trying to get people to buy their music, buy their merchandise, check them out on tour, thus giving them money. After the word music, it is still a business. They want your money. And even more ridiculous, rock and roll has always been blamed for it. And that's just stupid. I mean, if rock and roll is to blame for people killing themselves and rock and roll makes you kill yourself, why are the streets not littered with corpses? Why am I not tripping over them whenever I have to go to the market? Yet, around this time in history, there was a band starting out from Detroit that kind of went against what you were talking about and kind of made you actually have to second guess yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, that's tonight's band. I give you Insane Clown Posse. Now, I give you guys a lot of bands that have started out in low-income places and look at music and try to figure out a way to escape it, just because they realize that if they get stuck in that neighborhood, there's only two ways out: in handcuffs or a body bag. So they decide to go with another alternative, to find music and find a reprieve so they don't get into trouble. And I completely and utterly respect that. ICP, as Insane Clown Posse is well known, is not one of those bands. They actually started out as a gang. Oh yeah! Insane Clown Posse was originally Inner City Posse. And the band, when they decided to finally get into music, I'll get to that in a second by the way, looked at what they wanted to name themselves. They decided to keep the ICP, just dropping the Inner City and putting Insane Clown, just so that they could quote unquote show that we're still alive. So wait a minute, let me see if I can get this straight. You want to prove yourself and be badass and just say, yeah, we're still going, even though you've moved on from that and you don't want to do that? Right. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not saying it's not okay to show your flaws and pretty much put them out there. Johnny Cash, one of country and rock and roll's best stars, actually recorded a live album from a prison that he was an inmate in to kind of show his growth and where he became as an artist. These guys are just trying to do the we're tough, we're badass, we're awesome, and we're a gang. Yeah, their rap sheet includes a bunch of stuff from like small fights and burglaries that didn't happen. Woo! Scary gang! About this time, they recorded a single, Party at the Top of the Hill, under the name JJ Boys. They of course didn't know if music was for them at the time, and decided to not pursue it. Instead, the band chose to go into the world of pro wrestling. This now marks two of my favorite things that this band has now violated by showing up in. And if you're wondering what they're like, well, they appeared on WWF, WCW, and ECW television before opening their own wrestling company in 1999 called Juggalo Championship Wrestling. This has nothing to do with the group's music, just something that pisses me off more than anything. Back to what I was supposed to be doing. The guys decided after having a few more run-ins with the law to go for music. officially in 1991, formerly making Psychopathic Records, a label that would be the lead in horrorcore. Trust me, the only thing scary about these people is how they have a f***ing career. And with that, the band would go on to make some of the music's worst pieces ever. I'm not going to talk about all of it for fear of going completely insane. I will, however, talk about their biggest blunders. Because every time they're on the news, it's always for something completely f***ing stupid. And I just feel like grabbing a blunt object and smacking myself over the head with it. In 1997, the band was in their home of Detroit when the unknown MC, Eminem, was advertising a release of his EP. On a flyer given to leader Violent J by the unknown rapper, it jokingly advertised an appearance by the group Maybe. Now, instead of taking this as it was, a joke and a small tribute to the group from someone they never heard of, the two called war. Of course, not an actual war, because, that would involve them doing something physical and, possibly getting hurt. Instead, they took it to music. Yes, they took their beefs to songs, bashing each other. I will refer you to their two careers. Eminem. Insane Clown Posse. Now, you tell me who got the better deal and who should have really been the most pissed out of this entire thing. I'll give you a quick hint on who you think should have won this. If at the beginning of this video, when I said the words Insane Clown Posse, your first reaction was, who? There's your answer. Next to come is the name of the fans of the groups. They refer to all their followers, friends, and family as juggalos. The definition of this is very hard to describe. On most occasions, a juggalo is just a fan of the hardcore music and wants to do just that. To be a fan and live and let live. Of course, it wouldn't be mentioned here if there wasn't something to cock your head at, now would it? Now, while it's true, a good portion of juggalos are just people who don't mean any harm and just want to have a good time, a large scale of these people are responsible for crimes all over the world. These crimes range from assault to murder. Also, if you look at what it means to be a juggalo, it's to follow faithfully their ideas and be loyal to your fellow juggalo and go against what it means to be normal in society. So, wait a minute. You're telling me that their followers blindly and faithfully follow everything you say and are against social norms and commit violent and horrible acts on everybody that is against them? Guys, hate to break it to you, that's not a fan. That's a f***ing cult! Now, I'm not saying the band is responsible for this, as they have denied any and all links to themselves and their fans to this extreme spot of themselves. I do find it a bit ironic, seeing as the group started out as a street gang. I kind of smell hypocrisy in this statement, though everything that the band themselves did has always been kind of pussy and violent vandalism and robberies, while the juggalos themselves are committing murders and kidnappings and arson. And as I said before, I don't want to go too much into the music, as it's mostly just what you would expect from a bunch of bad white rappers. This is the stuff that makes me almost miss Vanilla Ice.
Word to your mother.
Okay, maybe not. But to show you how completely insane this is, we're gonna have to do a quick contrast of things. First, here's what they normally sounded like when they first started out and for the majority of their career.
I won't diss you. You wanna wear a hat, what? How you want your eyelids open and shut? You never mean so much to me.
And here's the band with their new and improved style and one of their most lately famous singles for everybody to make fun of, Miracles.
notice and recognize miracles? It's all around you, you don't even know it. Are you a believer in shit's miracles? Crazy. Do you notice and recognize miracles? So many miracles, the magic miracle.
As you might have guessed, they're trying to imply that the world is made up of small wonders all around, from the stars in the sky to fans gathering at their shows. After hearing them, I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree, because it's a wonder exactly how they get so many people to show up at their shows. The song itself is almost religious, a sharp contrast to the rest of their music, which is extremely horror-filled, going with the horrorcore aspect. They do try to ask the questions about why certain things happen in the world, like a fish in the ocean and Mars in outer space.
Sometimes there's so much beauty in the world it makes my heart burst.
It's just some trash blowing in the wind! Do you have any idea how complicated your circulatory system is?
One of the most famous lines in this song, however, is right before one of my favorite lines to sum up just what they're trying to say.
Fucking magnets, how do they work? And I don't want to talk to a scientist. Y'all motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed.
So let me get this straight. You think science is a lie, that they're completely lying to you about all these things that are happening around the world. Okay. Just to be clear here, there are two people in the entire world that will do this, that will completely bash anything science has to say and debunking it for something higher powered. The religious people of the world and morons who failed out high school. Now, as the latter of that, I want you to go ahead and take a look. Do you think these guys
So much to me.
have anything to do with religion? Didn't think so. Bottom line, this is just bad. It's just two guys that got together with a drum machine, one they no doubt stole from a better musician, and made piss poor beats. I'd tell you to check it out, but I'm pretty sure I just showed you the best that this band has to offer in this video. And what really surprised me is that I learned two interesting things while researching this video. One, ICP actually has 2 platinum records. The fact that this happens lets me know way too many tone-deaf people are buying CDs. And 2, shockers that Psychedelic Records was actually partnered with Jive Records. I'm not kidding here. Jive Records actually was partnered with Psychedelic Records back from 1995 to 1996. I'm really considered right now to believe that this is the biggest shame that Jive Records has from their history.
Boom! I put it in a group like Slam!
Okay, I could think of a lot more, but still this is pretty bad. It's nothing horror-filled and, just completely horrible, pardon the pun. Now, I really do actually think this is a great way to start off the season, and I'll see you guys next week for Halloween.